Hi everyone, Logan here with Digital Finance Weekly. I wanted to talk today about the Metaverse. What is the Metaverse? And what is Facebook's Metaverse? There are not a lot of details released yet on Facebook's project. So I'm going to talk at a very high level on why I think Facebook's project for a Metaverse will actually fail over, say, 10 years or so. And I think there are two main reasons as to why that's the case. So let's start. What is the Metaverse? The Metaverse is a number of digital worlds that are currently being created. Some are available in kind of a beta form in order for you to check out, something like Decentralizing. I invite you guys to just log in and check it out for a second. Check out the map, walk around a little bit. And what you will find is that we are creating digital worlds with digital real estate, with digital economies, right? And users in a Decentraland scenario that's more decentralized. Users buy real estate. They build games on it, build museums, build casinos, build whatever they want to generate revenue. And that revenue is denominated in a currency that is typically native to that world. And so what did I just describe? This is something that I've really kind of had to sit around and think about. That is a sovereign nation state in digital space, essentially. And so, and the metaverse concept is a number of these digital nation states, where you can generate revenue in one, you can kind of live in one, you can have your real estate in one, you can participate in one, and then you can exchange some of that value and travel to these different worlds in digital space. And that is kind of the concept behind the metaverse, is that we are building an entire digital universe for people across the world to be able to interact and trade and play. And so that brings me to reason number one, why I think Facebook's metaverse will actually fail. And that is because they are centralized. And I think that they and some folks who are working on decentralized metaverse concepts understand that I think that Facebook and these groups understand that they are building these digital sovereign nation states. I am not yet convinced that the governments across the world understand that that's what's going on. And I think that once they do understand that's going on, and that, say, in a decade's time, when almost every company wants to interact with this kind of an interface, wants to advertise in these worlds, wants to build community in these worlds, that governments are going to want to tax and regulate trade and do all the kinds of regulation that they do in reality. And they're probably going to want to be able to do that in some sort of a digital format. And so they're going to likely be able to, through force, co-opt this Facebook project in order to generate revenue for the government. And this is really made possible because Facebook is centralized. The government can go and tap Mark Zuckerberg on the shoulder and say, hey, this is going to happen. We're going to, participate in this economy and regulate you and set rules and basically begin leeching off of this economy in order to support the economy outside of the real economy, if you want to call it that. It won't probably be the case in 10 years. It'll be very interesting. But so centralized versus decentralized, there is a major advantage in having a decentralized metaverse. And that is that governments don't have a shoulder to tap on to basically either turn the metaverse off or to regulate the trade and to tax it and to begin to kind of, centrally plan the project. Which brings me to reason number two, why I think that Facebook will fail in the end. If we truly are building digital sovereign nation states, what we have seen in reality is that central planning doesn't generally work, especially when competing against a free market. So we've seen this in reality, right? We saw this in the Cold War, but we see it consistently throughout the world. We see it in China as to why they've had such great growth. And it's really because they loosened the reins on their centralized planning to an extent, and they allowed markets to participate. We're seeing that close down a little bit now in China, hence some of these pullbacks. They're trying to rein it back in. But it is great for growth and creativity. These free markets really seem to outcompete the centrally planned countries of the world. And so I do believe that we will be able to see this trend mimicked in this metaverse concept, where you have these centrally planned universes with some really smart developers, some really cool things going on, and yet over time, even the best talent can't compete with a free market network where anyone on Earth can just get excited, become enthusiastic, and build. And that's what we're seeing on places like Decentraland, where folks can pick up a piece of real estate and just build whatever they want. And they're not beholden to any kind of central planner beyond beyond the constraints of the metaverse. And so, Facebook has, I think, 1.7 billion users, something like that. So them starting a universe, they're going to probably do pretty well out the gate. But I do think over time they're going to get outcompeted, and I think they're going to get beat down by government oversight. So we'll see what happens going forward, guys. But I think that it's a good framework to think through for these metaverses, and even for NFTs, thinking about really just a digital version of reality, where a lot of these NFTs that people are buying, just be careful. I think a lot of them won't probably have value in the future, since it's sort of dictated by a culture, and we see things like clothing today. Even a lot of art revolves around where the culture pushes it, not the initial price that it's purchased at, if that makes sense. And so, just some food for thought to really think about all this stuff as digital nation states, and to maybe make some investment plays off of that mindset, which is kind of my plan. So let me know, guys, if you see any flaws with this point of view, with the way I'm looking at things. Let me know your thoughts on the whole metaverse projects in general, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.